This is part 2 of my case study, Module 10. So what criteria should be considered when developing a program? So you need to make sure that you have accountability, clear expectations. You need to have a checklist so that way you're making sure that you're getting all of the things completed for the program, so that way it's running smoothly. And you just need to make sure all your members know the roles and responsibilities and your expectations, and that they're using professional judgment and being professional in whatever program you're running. How can the community be helpful in identifying and supplying resources for the school and school programs? The community is helpful in identifying and supplying resources for the school by providing volunteers, food, and other necessities for a program to run, such as school supplies. Reach out to local churches, sporting teams, small businesses. They can provide materials for such programs. We've had community members make money donations, clothing donations, school supply donations, food donations, and just donations of time. Be confident in asking can be a result of getting the help that you need. The next part is, how can a school leader use community resources to support student learning? As a school leader, it's vital that I look for community stakeholders because they're eager to help and they have resources to help. Local businesses have provided backpacks, shoes, school supplies, and food for students. Donations are helpful for keeping the school running. It's beneficial for students to see that connection between community and school, because they can learn from local community helpers such as postmasters, police officers, firefighters, mayors, pastors, bank tellers, business owners, even outside of just the community, farmers, store managers, people that just make the community run. And then students will be the future leaders of our communities, and so they need to have that connection with communities. What strategies could a school leader use to communicate with parents and community when English is not the primary language or many languages are spoken? So in my district, English is the primary language, but it is not the same for all districts. For us, if we do have, because we have a slight number, to communicate with non-English speaking individuals, we need to find translators. And that can be in the community, it can be a community member, it can be somebody from the high school that maybe teaches the foreign language. A lot of the times we steal people from the Fort Hays State because we have international students that are bilingual, and they help us a lot. The next best thing is Google Translate. And then, of course, sending notes in primary language is beneficial too. There are a couple other apps that you could utilize, but for the most part, Google Translate would probably be the go-to. Section 6 is identify the options and possible consequences for the situation. So option 1, I do absolutely nothing. I let the situation play out and parents get to do what they want to do. Allow the committees to proceed and take over what they personally feel needs to be changed. Give them the control. Give them the reins. Option 2, stand up to the parents and say no. Acknowledge their opinions and express the concerns without taking over the curriculum. Concerns with taking over curriculum, staff evaluation, discipline. Spelled that wrong. Sorry. And school day decisions. Explain to the school framework of how the decisions are made by the district administration and BEO. And discuss issues that are faced with the idea of giving over so much power, specifically confidential legal issues and liability problems. Be open to ideas and work towards a solution. Option 3 is to engage the community perspective. So meet with community stakeholders to get input, provide staff and parent surveys, meet with parent groups and community stakeholders, work together to brainstorm ways for parent involvement for the solution, create goals to meet the needs expressed. Option 4, meet with superintendent. Discuss parent concerns, discuss legal and ethical issues, create a staff survey that reflects on the issues and see if they're similar in parent issues. Interview and visit other districts to see their parent involvement, and then meet with parent groups to go over issues and develop a solution. So if I evaluate those, option 1 is not very good. The pros are I don't have any conflict, which would be nice. However, They get what they want. The cons are huge. Legal and ethical issues. Staff morale is in jeopardy. District policies are not going to be followed, along with state policies and federal policies. And then academic and social risks are for the students, which we're here for the students, so that would not be good. Option 2, tell the parents no. Pros, no legal and ethical issues. I get my staff morale. I get to run the school, and there's no breach of confidentiality. Cons, my PTA can be dissolved, so I'd have no funding or parent support. In that aspect, I wouldn't have any funding. Lack of support from parents or community, bad press in the community, conflicts with parents and PTA members. Maybe there's some legal issues or some backstabbing. I mean, the president-elect is a lawyer, so maybe he finds a way to take me to court for something. So that could be kind of nasty if I just straight up said no. Option 3, engage community perspective. The pros are a reflection of community and parent voices. I get strong data to guide how I want to lead the school or how I should be leading the school. Create new policy and protect the school. And then no legal or ethical issues. Work together as a team. Cons, it's going to take a lot more time and energy and effort just to design a policy to make them all happy. Surveys and dissection of data, it's going to take time. Parents and community members might not be happy still. And then again, I can still have that bad media release or limited support due to the school decision. Option 4, meet with the superintendent. The pros, protect district from legal issues, advice from the Kansas officials, so getting a hold of the Kansas State Department. Staff and parent expressed concerns. Look forward to a strong school improvement plan for student success, and then we have a policy set in place to avoid future issues like this one. Cons, parents continue to disagree, more time and energy to design the policy and make them all happy. Parents might still not be happy. And then again, there's that bad media release and limited support due to school decision. Section 8, choose the best option. So looking at my available options, I'm doing a combination of option 3 and 4. This allows me to continue to be the continue to be the principal and keep control of the school, but it also allows me to audit the things we do and to get background information from staff, parents, and community members. And I'm possibly even going to include students in a survey as well to get their input. And we would be able to understand more about the school while collaborating with influential, it should say members, not memes, of the school, sustain a meaningful relationship with the community stakeholders. We want the same goal of working to provide the best educational experience possible for students with academic growth and achievement. I would meet with my superintendent and share issues and what is currently happening with PTA. Then I would develop and send surveys to staff, students, families, and community stakeholders. We would look at the results with the superintendent and fellow administrators and analyze the trends. And then I would reach out to other districts to see what they're doing to get some ideas and bring all those ideas and data to the PTA meeting. And then we would meet PTA and superintendent to discuss the legalities of what is coming into play and why we can't give so much power, and then develop a solution for all people to agree on, and that policy would be a part of that. Have stakeholders all been consulted in my plan? Yes. With 2 options, I have all of them looking at a solution. Have I identified and create a creative options? I think they're creative because it's a mixture of both, because I'm going to get everybody's input and try to get this figured out together and show what we know, show what we can do, and show what we can build. So here's how I would put this implementation into play. So I would set up a meeting with the Board of Education superintendent and a district lawyer. We'd overview what's happening, discuss the limited policies, get a policy in place so that can protect us, and then invite all PTA to the meeting to share concerns and perspectives. Then I would get staff, family, and community surveys developed. Make sure that they're honest and open because we need to be transparent with our community. And it needs to be informative. Like the questions need to be data driven, like they're going to give us enough information. Collect that data, review the information, share it with PTA. Then develop that new policy based on the data that we were given. Meet with administrators and superintendent, look at that data, develop that new policy for parent involvement, gain the BOE's approval, share that with PTA. Finalize, meet with PTA and superintendent and even some Board of Education members. Share that new policy. Discuss why we can't give you the power. Share the data from the surveys, and then work together to brainstorm a medial solution. What can we do together? What can we agree on together? Implementation plan B. If plan A falls through and doesn't work, I know I have a backup plan due to the reflection of the situation I previously performed. So after PTA and the program is not willing to come to an agreement or a solution, I would more likely move to option 2 and just say no. Again, it depends on a lot of the attitude. If they're very like gung-ho about like I'm going to want the power, it might be looking at that dire situation of removal of the whole PTA program and then try to rebuild the following year. It's not the most logical solution, but the program needs to be reevaluated and get rid of that negativity, stigma, and provide a new foundation with different parents. Sometimes starting fresh makes a huge difference. It's by far not the easiest. However, I want my school climate and culture for my students and my students' education to not be in jeopardy due to the negativity. Here is my correlation for this assignment. Here is my relevancy for this assignment. And here is my personal reflection for this assignment. My reflection is that I just said, the assignment will influence my decisions I make as a future leader because I'm faced with difficult situations and I need to maneuver through each situation cautiously and not work based on emotional decisions. I will need to utilize my background knowledge of laws, policy, and continue to sustain and cultivate relationships with students, family, staff, and outside stakeholders. My decisions need to be made for what will best benefit students and the school while continuing the meaningful relationship from stakeholders. If you have any questions, here's my email, here's my resources, and that is it. Thank you so much.